Kenny, you guys are making it interesting. How are you feeling right now about all that?
I mean, like I told the guys in our locker room, some people find ways to win. Some people find ways to lose. Whether that's in some people, are quiet and they're successful versus guys that are loud and successful. Some people are alphas, some people aren't. There's so many ways to be successful in football and in life. Some people like controversy, some people hate it. Do you get it done or not? And our guys get it done. And I think that's what I told them. It's a great life lesson that nobody cares about the pain. Show me the baby, right? That's nobody says like, how was it? They say, show me the baby, right? And other than me, when my wife gets pregnant, I'm going to be very concerned about the pain and all of that. Make that perfectly clear. But everybody else is going to say, show me the baby. And unfortunately, that's life. And right now, like, we're getting it done. And it's so cool to watch these guys, like, through all the adversity this year, like 7-3 still in this thing. Like, I don't know what happened in games earlier today that affect us, but I mean, unbelievable.
Blake?
Oh, hi, Blake. Y'all are all in different spots. Y'all have reserved seats in here, and you're not in your assigned seat, I feel like.
We get crowded in here. Jeff, 3 touchdowns and 3 different receivers. Last week when he was, or 2 weeks ago, really showed up with his legs, but today, again, 3 different guys involved in 3 different touchdowns. What are your thoughts on this performance?
Yeah, I mean, I truly think I think it was 18 months ago, that I think our team has 2 NFL quarterbacks. And I think some people laughed at me or thought I was a little bit crazy. I still believe that. I think Jeff Sims is a guy who can play on Sundays. I absolutely believe that. And for him to be able to get his opportunity is super cool. And me and Coach Arroyo joke about it. We're like, man, what's right in the universe is for him to go out and be successful because he's such a good kid. So if people watching, he's a phenomenal human.
And a quick thing on Derek, getting to see him, a guy who's really worked and just showed up every single day, not complained at all. What was that like seeing him get?
Yeah, just to see Eusebio play like that is pretty fun. I mean, 6 receptions, 74 yards, touchdown. I mean, it's cool to get everybody's getting involved right now, and in some way, shape, or form. 19 to 28. That's about 68% completion percentage. I think maybe 64. I don't know, somewhere in that range, right? Somewhere in that middle 60s. That's pretty good for a quarterback with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I think it's because he's taking what the defense is giving him, and he's distributing the ball.
Hey Coach, congrats on the win. It's Aya Abdi for Devils in Detail. I have 2 questions for you. So Keith told me just a few moments ago that me and the West Virginia quarterback made eye contact right before that. So I was like, I know it's coming. And you ultimately had the game-sealing interception, which it sealed the win and the chances for the Sun Devils to advance back to the Big 12. How good is it to see this moments like this and continue to build the momentum for the Sun Devils?
Yeah, well, I think, we want to recruit smart kids here. Our slogan to win football games is smart, tough, the ball, the team. And Keith's a guy who's in the Barrett Honors Program, the #1 honors program in the country. And, a little plug for Barrett right there. He's in it. And when you see smart players make smart plays, it starts in the classroom. It starts in how he carries himself and just in life. And then when it carries over to game day like that, it just shows you that, being smart helps you win football games. It's going to help him in life.
And another question for me. How special is it to see Jeff Sims play in front of the Sun Devils home crowd for the first time?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think he was fired up. I was trying to get him there to ring the bell, but Keith took it, and he deserved it too. So yeah, it's great for him to get a win. Now we got to get back to the drawing board. Got a team that's coming off of a bye. We only play close games, so it'll be a close game. So we got to find another way to win.
Thank you.
Greg, over here.
Coach Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Congratulations on the win. It seems like since day one, we've been talking about enthusiasm and how much that matters. I'm in the press box and look down, I see Jordan Tyson's running around. He looks like he wants to play. What does that kind of enthusiasm do for you guys, the guys on the field, from a guy who's not playing to give that much energy?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan loves ball. Jordan's ultra competitive. If Jordan could play, he would play. I know there's obviously going to be weird narratives out there about him, right? Because he's such a great player. If Jordan could play football right now, he would 100% play football. Jordan wants to play, right? But Kenny Dillingham's not going to let him play until he's 100%. Not 90%, not 95%, when you're dealing with muscles, you don't mess around. You can't push through a muscle, right? You know, if your shoulder hurts, if your knee hurts, you can push through something. You can't push through when you have a torn hamstring. It's just you got to wait and rehab and hope to come back as soon as possible. So hopefully he's progressing, whether that's this week, next week, who knows? Like, we just got to keep progressing him, and he's putting in the work to come back, and he wants to come back.
For whatever it's worth, Coach, I do notice a limp when I see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you ever want to strap him to a chair or something to make sure he doesn't hurt himself cheering the guys on?
These are still kids, man. These are 18 to 22-year-olds, other than, Cooper, 25, that are having the time of their life. These are the moments they're going to remember for the rest of their life out here. If he jumps a little too high in excitement for his teammates, all right, if that's the worst thing we do, I'm going to sleep pretty good at night.
Doug Franz, Unplugged Podcast. First quarter, they go for it on that fourth down. I'm not asking you to comment on what Rich Rod does, but there's a slogan, "Don't poke the bear," and it seemed like you guys, if sleepwalking is an offensive term, weren't quite all there going into that moment, and you were there, and the team rolled quickly. Did you feel like the defense gave everybody a charge with that statement?
Yeah, that was obviously a big down. I would have done the same thing if I was Rich Rod in that scenario. Make a team go 99 yards to try to score. So I would have done the same thing. So I thought it was a good decision by him. And we just made a play. I mean, at the end of the day, we're 4 inches, stopped him 4 inches short. And I do think that created some momentum for us, just like it would have created momentum for them if it would have been 4 inches further. So big play by us. We stepped up in the biggest moment.
And the 2-point conversion, was that something you saw on film? Was that a check that you saw right there? Explain that play.
Yeah, that was Coach Nudo. That had nothing to do with me. Coach Nudo saw something on tape, and he said, "I think we can get a free point by going for 2." And I said, "Okay, show it to me." And he presented it in my office, and I'm like, "Yeah." So I said, "If we get to the right situation," we were in the right situation. I believe we were up 4. We scored, to go to 7-3. So we score. And that 2-point conversion kind of made it to where they had to score 2 touchdowns. It made the trade-off to where they would always be trailing. They could never kick a field goal to get back in the game at that point. So we felt it was worth it. We got it. And then when you look at it, right, if they would have got the 2-point conversion trade-off game, right, they may not have gone for it at the end if they were only down by 1 instead of 2 in that scenario at the end. So you don't. As the game progresses, that became big in the math of what happened at the end of the game. That play was bigger than people think. Even though you win by 2, that 2 points caused a difference in strategy on both sides of the ball there at the end.
That's why I asked. And lastly, will you take us through your emotions of when you're jumping up and down waving for a cart? I mean, it's one thing for fans and media to care, but those aren't our kids, and we know that they're your kids, and you're demanding the cart come out on the field, and then 10 minutes later you have a kid dancing on the field. Take us through everything you felt.
Well, it was scary. He was, anytime he made a great hit, and I was fired up, and then he didn't get up, and I'm like, all right, well, anytime you make a hit like that violent, get everybody over here as fast as possible. This is transition, right, mode. And then the doctors got there. We have the Mayo Clinic. We have some of the best doctors in the world. And, they assessed him. They felt like he could stand up. And, he was smiling. He asked if he stopped him short. And I'm like, yeah, you did, Rodney. You did. Now get healthy, right? Get up. And, he was like, get me back out there. I'm like, no. Lay here, bud. Lay here for a little bit. So, it's... we called his parents right after I actually went over to our DFO. I'm like, make sure we call his parents and make sure his parents know. And but yeah, I think he's doing well.
Jose?
Hey, Kenny. Jose Romero, Arizona Republic. On the 4th down stops, the 2, you're running up to the official trying to get his attention for a timeout. What was that moment like? Was it maybe more last minute than it should have been down there? And then after the timeout, what were some of the things you said to the defense to energize them to make those plays?
Well, it just depends if we like the call versus the look, right? If we're sound in the look. So it's kind of spur of the moment based off of, you have certain calls that you want for certain things. And if they come out and they kind of get you, you want to make sure that on those critical downs you have the best call possible. So when I'm just like the messenger, Coach Ward's like, call timeout, and I run out there and call timeout. He said, don't call timeout, and I stand there and cross my fingers, right? So it's really, it's really Coach Ward from the box, telling me to run or to stand there,
Ryan?
Hey Coach, Brian Myers, Devil's Digest. Are you seeing the amount of skilled players that you kind of mentioned earlier that are getting a lot of touches, getting more confident, playing well, and also seeing the minute players are walking for each other, like on Derek's touchdown with Shaman and Jalen both having big blocks? What do you make about the offensive production that you guys have seen and how the team has really progressed over the last few weeks of the season?
Yeah, we're getting better and better, especially in the first half. Our last two first halves have been really good. Now we've come out in the second half and stalled at points. We still move the ball. It's not like we're going 3 and out. Like we just still move the ball down the field and then we stall. So we gotta be better in the second half. We gotta make better adjustments. I gotta make better adjustments in the second half. In the first half it was all zone pressure. Jeff was just really playing good football versus zone pressure. Second half they came out and played man pressure and more man coverage. And I think we could have done some more things as a staff to help our players in that scenario. Yeah, are the plays okay? Of course, every play can be man, right? But are they advantages, right? Are we doing more to help? And I think we could have done a little bit more to help here in a few of those second half drives. But I thought Coach Royal had an unbelievable plan. I thought they executed. We moved the ball. We just got to convert some of those fourth downs on offense.
Staying to the left for a few more. You go ahead.
Hi.
Kenny Dillingham, Cronkite Sports Network. I was curious to have Jeff go from a record-setting performance on the ground to 3 touchdowns through the air. Was that part of the game plan to emphasize the passing attack?
100%. Jeff's a quarterback. Jeff can sling it. Last week was, or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was a team that the +1 run is like everybody does it. Versus those teams, you almost have to the way they play defense. Like you have to take advantage of it, right? Because that's kind of what they're daring you to do. Well, not every game is like that. So the +1 runs were not nearly as productive. When we called them at the end there, we had one big one this week because the scheme is different. The scheme this week made him have to throw quick game versus pressure teams. And he went out there and did that. And I think that's why I say I got a lot of confidence in Jeff.
And then with Mateer not only laying that block down with Derek's touchdown, but this is his 3rd straight game with a touchdown of his own. What do you think about his performance?
Yeah, Shaman's, I think, a Sunday player as well. Scouts are starting to talk about him. I've been singing his praises for a year. He blocks people, catches the ball. He's physical. He's one of the smartest kids on the team. Works hard. He's a good person. I don't know what else you'd want.
Hey Coach, Adam Beadle, Arizona Varsity. You had said in a point very early on last season that your team was a group of misfits and underdogs. And Jeff and Derek came in here and talked about how, through the camps they were second team guys, and now because of injuries they've had to step up. And I know a bunch of other guys on your team have had to step up as well. Does any part of that sort of saying still kind of ring true about your guys, even though you've won a Big 12 championship and you were picked, first the Big 12 preseason?
Yeah, I think everybody's got to find a way to have a chip on your shoulder. I think you should always find your own way to motivate yourself. And I think a lot of those guys have been counted out, told they're not good enough, told they can't play quarterback, laughed at, told you can't play Division I wideout. Whatever it is, a lot of guys on our team have still been told no, right? They haven't been praised. So I think that mindset really, I think that's why we win close games, is they like each other. Like there's a brotherhood, there's a genuine brotherhood, and those guys want to win so bad. Like they just, it's the will to win, the will to compete, right? And they find a way.
Hey, Coach, Luke Lumner, Sun Devil Source. Big plays have, especially late in games, have occasionally haunted your defense over the last few years. Today, there was one late, but the defense kind of turned it around and made it stop when it mattered. What did it say about that unit to recover with its back against them?
Yeah, we give up a 80-yard 3rd and 27, I don't know, or whatever it was. That was the craziest play I've probably ever been part of. Legitimately, the worst probably play I've ever been a part of. I don't know of a worse play. I got beat by a Hail Mary. That's one. That's two. Okay? And for our guys to bounce back and stop the 2-point conversion, which allowed us to kick a field goal for the win instead of the tie. Winning football. Right? Then they come back and get a stop to win. So really cool to see our guys respond in that setting, in the real live moment, to corral themselves, get a stop, and then get another stop.
And Jordan mentioned after he saw after he saw Bibbage dancing while he was getting up, that it kind of fired him up and it turned him up for the rest of the game. After those big plays, the energy stayed high. Players were flying, dancing. What does that say about this player culture that you've spoken so often about for them to?
Yeah, I mean, these guys want to win for each other. I mean, like I said, they run the show. Before we leave the locker room, they say the last words. That's what I want. I want a team that the team is in charge. Now I'm gonna, keep the guardrails on and help them make good decisions, right? And we're gonna wind it and work together, right? But I'm no bigger than the team. I'm just one of the people that are trying to help it get to the right area and the right place as a program, right? They're the team. I'm trying to run a program. Those are two kind of different things, right? You're in it while you're trying to build what you want, right? Somebody said something the other day about like you're building the airplane while you're flying it. Like that's what it is. You're like, oh crap, this is broken on the airplane. We got to fix this while we're in the air, right? That's college football. There's so much changing. You're constantly pushing to fix things and get things better while you're still accomplishing the task of flying the airplane. And I think that's kind of my role, and their role is to lead our team, right? My role is to help build this program. And I think sometimes those can get mixed, but my ultimate role every single year is program, the players, the program. They go hand in hand.
Tyler.
Head coach Tyler Weiss, Walter Hawkeye Sports Network. Cam Harple with that 2-point conversion in the second. How often has that specific play been practiced, and what was the thought process behind that decision?
Once, and it was picked off in practice because we did it versus our defense when our defense can stop it. And it was brought to me by Jack Nudo, and he said, I think I got a free point, like we alluded to earlier, and I watched it, and I'm like, yeah, we do. And then he came up to me after the first touchdown and said, hey, it's there. And I said, looked at it, 4-point lead. I'm like, okay, well, then the math, all right, do it, right? So whatever it was at that point, I think it was a 4-7-3, so 14-3, so 13-3, yeah, it's about right. Made it a 12-point game.
Chris?
Kenny, a lot of ASU fans are trying to interpret comments made this week and recently by you and by Graham about how well-resourced that you are, NIL, and even as that pertains to your future at ASU. So what can you say to them about all those things?
Yeah, well, I go on the radio Friday morning and I don't have all the information. And so Graham was right. We met on Friday with, our, admin and people who represent Dr. Crow, and I have a lot of confidence that they're all in. I have a lot of confidence that our administration is pushing the chips to the table on winning in football here. The conversations we have, I think everybody's got to start understanding that this university is supporting football. This university is really doubling down on what we're doing right now, and that's such a relief. For me, I just want to be able to push this place to its limit. And sometimes if I can do some things that, people don't like, but that's not my job to be liked. I never came in here in a press conference and said, I want to be liked. I said, I want to activate the Valley. I want to win games. I want to get this program better, right? And sometimes that is ruffling feathers, and it is what it is. But I know this. I know our university is behind us. They're behind this program. They're behind winning games. And I can say that with a lot of confidence that they're going to support this place at a level that can win and compete in the Big 12.
Coach, does that mean you're not leaving?
I was never leaving, Greg. Contrary to the betrayal article, I was never leaving. I never said I was leaving. This is home. But you do have to continue to push. And my job running a program is to push and push and push until you can't push anymore. And if I didn't do that, I'd be cheating my players, I'd be cheating my staff, I'd be cheating the fan base, I'd be cheating everybody in the city, I'd be cheating the local businesses that feed off of us winning and then they, sell more beer, right? I'd be cheating everybody. So my number one goal always is to do whatever I can to push the envelope for Arizona State football.
Jake?
Hey, Coach Shinkston, Sun Devil Source. You guys did commit a penalty in the first quarter for the first time this year. What does that kind of talk about? Speak about discipline and competitive aspect?
I think I've yelled no penalties like half of the practice the last 3 days. My voice is probably sore from yelling no penalties. So it was good to see us not get as many stupid penalties. That was refreshing.
Mike up front.
Coach Michael Caratino, Pitchfork Lunch. When you talk about, obviously Rodney's play was a great open field tackle. It just seems like the open field tackling has been good, but I mean, since you went more physical in practice, like you're saying, how do you feel the defense has just responded to that? And what have you thought of the open field?
Yeah, I mean, our defense stopped the run at a high rate. I mean, I think it was, 36 rushes, 39 rushes for 68 yards. We just gave up explosive passes. Gave up one seam ball for 60 after we took a 12-point lead. I believe it was right after 2-point conversion. And then we gave up another touchdown on the fourth quarter on a 3rd and, like I said, 27. You take away those 2 plays of 100 and probably 70 yards, and they're in the 250 yardage range. That's a really, really good football game. Unfortunately, all the plays count. So.
Hey, Coach Aiden Blankhouse is working. This fan base had a love affair with Sam. A lot of the national media kind of did too. He was the shining gem of your program.
Yeah, I did too. I do too.
What is it like to see the embrace that they've had for Jeff Sims? He was, you see all the memes on Twitter. He got mentioned by multiple, legendary coaches and players on College Game Day this morning. What has it been like to see the national and local embrace of him stepping up and leading this program?
Honestly, I haven't seen it because I really try to remove, unless, like I said, my sister sends me something, which she does often, right? But unless she sends me something or my wife shows me something from my sister, I really don't get into it in season. But if that's happening, that's awesome because he deserves it. Like I said, he's such a great human being, right? Like, he deserves it all.
We'll finish up with Adam in the middle.
Hey Coach, Adam Keenan, Cronkite News. A lot of emotional swings towards the end of that game, and you guys have shown an ability to have this program-wide poise with 18 to 22-year-olds that can maybe be affected by those emotions. Just how do you go about instilling confidence across the board of the players?
I think they're comfortable. I think when you are nervous or you're trying to win or trying to do something for somebody else or you're scared to make a mistake, I think at the biggest moments, you get tight. If I fail, this is going to happen to me. And I think our program is really based off of, like, when you succeed, this is what's going to happen to you. And I think that mindset in the biggest moments, people aren't playing scared, right? They're playing comfortable and free, and they're exciting to play. They're excited to play. They're excited to play in those moments, not dreading what if I make a mistake in those moments. And I think that's the culture we're trying to build, is a culture, have more fun, working harder than anybody in the country. Like, who wouldn't want to be on the field in the fourth quarter, like up 2, at homecoming? Like, why wouldn't you want to be on the field? As opposed to, oh man, we got to make a play. No, go play football, baby. Let's go. And I think there's some power in that positive thought process. There's power in, like, the joy of playing kind of free.
All right, thank you.